Welcome back to the Auto Obsessive Garage. Chadwick with you again for another installment of the Auto Experience series. That's our review series where we feature subjective, objective tests, and really give you the best experience we can of what it's like to drive these cars, usually of a vintage variety. Today's subject is a 1992 Mazda Miata, an absolute icon and an awesome all-around sports car. Used to be one of the most affordable sports cars, but more on that in a little bit. This specific Mazda Miata with the 1.6 liter 116 horsepower engine. And the reason we're reviewing it today is because I believe firmly that to make a Miata fast up here in the canyons where we are right now, definitely taking those views with me, is all you need is handling mods. You don't need to jump on those power mods, that intake, exhaust, or further down the line, turbocharging and supercharging. I think to make it fast, competitive, and most importantly, fun up here, all you need to do is throw some proper handling mods at your Miata. This particular one, I have upgraded the shocks to Coneys, added Racing Beat lowering springs, paired that with Racing Beat's tubular front and rear sway bars, the adjustable ones, to really dial it in with the adjustable end links. Handling is excellent. I went with a softer spring and shock setup, so it's compliant. You know, these canyons are not well-groomed racetracks, okay? You need your car to be able to deal with what the road is throwing at it, which is a lot usually. That being said, the biggest issue with a stock NA Miata is the amount of body roll you get. They just roll, just like the roll. Besides suspension, I've gone ahead and added 200 tread-wear grip tires on here, some Falcon Azennis, so we have way more grip than go, and that is fun when you're really pushing a car up here. I'm trying not to right now as I'm trying to focus on talking, but God, it's fun to push this car up here. Braking is important too. If you want to go fast in the canyons, you probably should learn to stop fast in the canyons, or at least have the ability to attempt to stop fast in the canyons. Brakes, I've gone with the Power Stop Track Day spec pads and rotors. Pretty affordable and respectable option. They make a little bit of noise, just so you know, and they make a lot more dust than you're used to with regular pads and rotors. So just be aware of that. I've also added RL600 brake fluid from Redline. Really good stuff. And the Flying Miata stainless steel brake kit for the lines. So we've got really good brakes on the car, really good tires, and a really sorted suspension. Nothing but handling. Power, man, 116 horsepower on its best day. We're at stock power here. How do you get a Miata today? Like, what are you paying? Because back in the day, 3 to 4K got you a runner and a driver and something that was good on maintenance and looked okay. Not the case, guys. Sure, I can hear the comments now. Hey, I just scored a $4,500 Miata. Show me those photos. Show me that time about water pump. Show me that those body panels aren't a different color on every single one of them. Show me it's a clean title. You get where I'm going with this, right? Show me those 8-year-old tires at best. If you're gonna have a sorted, maintenance-wise, and decent-looking Miata, an NA, these earlier pop-up headlights, whether it be a 1.6 or 1.8, you're gonna shell out between 8 and 10 for a runner, driver, up on maintenance, and looks decent. It's just how it is now. We just have to come to terms with it. Do I think that's too much? Not at all. I don't think, geez, honestly, at any price point, can you get something this pure? Oh, hard to say, right? So I think if you're around 8 to 10, you can expect to scoop a pretty decent Miata. From there, they go up, obviously, low mileage, super clean, yada, 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 the usual factors that bake into that price assessment. But yeah, unfortunately, that's where we're at. I think they're worth it. 10K, you get one of the most reliable sports cars on the planet that'll just always be ready for you. Let it sit in your garage for a month, go turn the key, take it out, beat the living crap out of it in the canyons, put it away, and rinse, repeat for the rest of your life. Do timing belts every once in a while. I don't know. Pretty straightforward, super reliable car. This exact one I'm driving today might look really nice, and it is. It is a nice looking Miata. But it has 230,000 miles on the chassis. That's kind of high. The motor, though, 84,000 miles. That's kind of good. So that's a plus right there. And this is a stripper version, which is God, it's getting harder to find. So the later ones, you could get the R package, which was like no features at all, lightest weight, limited slip. This is basically the R package before the R package. Unfortunately, no limited slip. We can't win them all, guys. But this is a factory, no AC, no power steering, no ABS car. So, man, you want to talk about steering feel? Everybody preaches about it. Oh, the steering feel in this is pretty good. Oh, the electric steering mimics a hydraulic rack. Bounce that. Why even have a hydraulic rack? You can have a straight up manual rack, which this car comes with. So, I love it. I feel everything, every little undulation, every little pavement crack. Now this is pure driving feel and steering feedback. Can't be beat. Anyway, so let's get out there, do those objective tests. We've got the Miata up on the scales. Let's go ahead and get that curb weight and front and rear balance. Coming in at just under 2,100 pounds, there's little surprise that this Miata weighs so little. What with being a stripper model with no features, no AC, power steering, or ABS to get in the way. Comparing this Miata to other vehicles I have personally weighed, you can see that it is the lightest Miata I've tested and the second lightest car overall, being beat out by that incredibly feather-light Geo Metro convertible. The root cause of the Miata's handling abilities definitely is owed to this weight balance. With only 53% over the front, 47% over the rear, the Miata is an extremely balanced car right out of the box. Comparing our Miata 0 to 60 time to other cars I've personally tested, we can see that it ranks right in there with the other Miatas. Obviously that makes sense. Being beaten out slightly by the Mercury Tracer, the LX 470, and that 1.8 Mazda Miata at the top. Right behind it, another 92 Miata, a Land Cruiser, and a Lexus hybrid. Improved shocks and springs paired with sway bars and end links has really dialed in this Miata's handling. A stock Miata is still a veritable force in the canyons, but this example has been fully weaponized. Able to soak up the road surface imperfections while remaining flat in the corners means I nailed the setup I was aiming for. The manual rack is intuitively quick and communicates everything to the driver. Those acceleration times were nothing to be a braggart about, but this Miata's handling prowess when driven spiritedly is legit top-notch. Miatas are such pure driving enjoyment, and these handling mods have only reinforced that feeling. The NA is my favorite Miata generation in the sheet metal department. It's criminal to not be a fan of pop-up headlights. It's also a classic roadster shape that still nails that inspired design it was modeled after from the onset. The body is clean and uncluttered. The front end is purposeful, simple, yet attractive. The rear also terminates with a flat trunk lid and a slight pitch in the middle. Taillights are fantastic with their red circle enclosed reverse lights. The Miata's body will never grow out of favor. It's a timeless work that expertly conveys the retro classic roadster spirit. The Miata's interior is a very pared down affair. Features, especially on the stripped down optionless example, are few and very far between. The small aesthetic touches I've added do add some flavor to the interior, namely the leather with blue stitching boots, the aftermarket steering wheel, and new seat coverings. They really ramp up the quality index in here. The simple interior layout does couple favorably with the exterior design, presenting a great overall cohesiveness. It's a simple car, and a simple interior just makes sense here. The 1.6-liter dual overhead cam 4-cylinder engine is such an endearing little power plant. The Mazda B6ZE produces 116 horsepower and 100 pound-feet of torque. It also winds out to 7,000 RPM. These numbers are far from formidable, but in such a light vehicle, they feel adequate. The Miata never truly feels slow, due in most part to the rev-happy nature of this mill. Rumor has it that the 1.6 engines rev slightly faster than the 1.8 engines. Having owned both, I believe the old butt dyno confirms this. This is a rock-solid engine and dead nuts reliable. It takes no issue being held at higher RPMs for extended periods, and there are no reliability repercussions for this kind of behavior. This is what makes it one of my favorite sports car engines of all time. Not all manual gearboxes are created equal, and luckily, the Miata is more of a bar setter than comparison chaser. Its throws are accurate and find the next gear with zero resistance or vagueness. The recent full rebuild of the shifter assembly certainly helps with this. This is also due to the design of the shifter operation in the Miata, which drops directly into a fluid-filled turret atop the transmission. No linkages here to muddle the occasion. Also, nothing is more pure than 5 speeds with power going to the rear wheels. With high revving applications, quick accurate shifts are a must, and the Miata's gearbox delivers. Is a Miata fast with only handling mods? Clearly there was no impact on pure acceleration time. Rather, we're focusing on time in the canyons and track time speed improvements. We're also not focusing just on these objective improvements, but we're also here for the increase in fun factor that might come along with these potential driving performance increases. Without delay, our answer is a resounding yes. Handlers from the factory, Miatas are quite capable right out of the box. Choice modifications, namely those concerning tires, brakes, and suspension, have a massive, immediate impact on their performance in the canyons. This machine is able to deal with the choppy canyon road conditions while keeping the car tremendously flat through hard cornering exercises. Power mods are great, everyone knows that. But I encourage Miata owners, especially those new to the platform, to jump in with the handling mods first. Learn the limits of your car with these improvements, and then of course sprinkle on or force feed the car some power. It's still a shock to me how well Miatas react to handling improvements, and how the car truly transforms into a viable canyon carving weapon with zero power added.